Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my favorite series of all time, back in your life with some Ark Building Evolved. That is right, and we're back to the place where it all began. I think late 2016, leading up to Christmas time, I was ready to start a whole new series. The channel was just starting to grow, and it was just starting to grow based on the strength of a few old Ark building tutorials. In fact, at that point, I'd probably only done 6 or 7 of them. Log Cabin 2 had not even been conceived of, I don't think. And I was just about to start out on a server with the Gaming Evolved people, and at that time, I had met Syntac, and I was like, holy crap, I know a huge YouTuber. I think he had about 25,000 subscribers back then, and I might have had, less than 1,000, probably. And this first video snuck up eventually to 50 likes, the first episode ever of Ark Building Evolved. 50 likes, and I was floored by it. I would love to see what you guys can do now. Now, I will say this. The channel has not grown. Well, it continues to grow, slowly and steadily, but there was a time when I would upload an episode of this series and 5,000 people would watch it. I'm not sure that's going to happen right now. These days, my Ark videos don't do that, but I think it's because I haven't been consistent. I haven't been giving you guys the one thing you need most from me, which is building on a near daily basis. And I still love this game, and I still love building in this game, but when I play in survival, when I have to grind, man, does it take it out of me. I don't finish projects and I lose my inspiration. Well, in this world, and you're going to recognize this world pretty darn soon, in this world, I have never lost inspiration. Not once. And before this sun goes down, guys, I wanted to do this for you and recreate the image that is still the desktop background on my computer and one of the most iconic thumbnails I've ever done. Episode 1, Ark Building Evolved. I wore something looking like this, and I stood somewhere very, very similar to this. For those of you that are curious, we're actually on the center map. The last time you saw this series, we had made the move to Ragnarok, and these are our coordinates just off the top of my head, 7525. We'd made the move to Ragnarok, and we worked on a swamp area. But, you know what? Let's bring around some morning sunlight. Or I'll wait till maybe 11 a.m. when the sunlight hits this spot, and I will come right back to you. Boom. Sun just peeking over the falls. I love it. So guys, this is not just the same map that this series started on. This is actually the same world in which a big chunk of this series was recorded and in which some of the most iconic locations exist. My Harbour town is in this world, and the Viking Village is in this world. Links are in the description to all of these, and we're going to visit a few of the spots, but I wanted to start right back here, because I am not going to be alone. Just like the last run of Building Evolved, I am going to be here with my patrons. The geeks will be joining me, and a few of them have offered to recreate the areas from Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Building Evolved that no longer exist. So when this series started, I spent about the first 9 episodes on this rocky outcropping, dressed somewhat like this, and my goal was to make an elk ranch, a megalosaurus farm, and right here, I built the mountain cabin. Somewhere right over here, I built my great-uncle's house right after he passed away. This was right around Christmas time. Episode 2 in the series. And then I came down this way and built an elk barn. The one that we recently recreated in the new elevator workshop design, the old school wood and adobe one, right down here was a big old barn. And I can't remember what else ended up going into this area. I never quite brought it to life, but I just figured I would show the location and exactly where we are in case for this first episode one of the geeks makes their way here and wants to get started on some of these old builds and maybe bring this area to life. I had a to-do list that involved a little Pelagornis boathouse and docks and a mammoth barn and a whole bunch of ideas that I never quite got to. Part of this run, and you know what? I should probably get a wingsuit. We never wingsuited in this series before. Part of this run we built over there. Ooh, and there we go. You don't realize how big this water is until you try and glider suit over it. And then over here, when the Equus first came out, I did a little building for the Equus. We built a sort of a pasture and a little sheep barn. And do a little dive. Yeah, that's right. Incoming. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, wings are going to change our world. And that was more or less Volume 1, the first series of this thing. Let's see if I can find the spot. Somewhere around here. Maybe they've changed it. Somewhere around here, there's no grass. Yes, yes, yes. So right where there was no grass, I decided this looked like the perfect area to keep my sheep. I put a fence up right along this line and thought, like, okay, in here, they've been chewing on the grass. That's why it's all short. And in this series, guys, I have always had a tendency to talk potentially more than I build. So just be warned of that. I want you to know that is a possibility. And specifically in today's episode, there is going to be a lot of talking, and that is so that I can get it out of the way. So that I can blab out all the unimportant stuff, and it works out well. So if you don't want to hear me blab, guys, this is episode 39. Episode 40 seemed like the right place to take on some new projects or to retake on some old projects. So for this episode, expect a lot of blabbing. But as we go on, we will not be looking at areas where my builds used to exist. We will make it to areas where my builds still exist, and we'll be able to tour through them. But yes, this whole area was a sheep pasture, and then we built a sheep barn over there, and then the Equus came out. The Equus came out, and I changed my whole style, and that's Volume 2 of Ark Building Evolved. If you remember, what would you remember from that series? I built a Roman-style cavalry fort, sort of an Equus stable with a twist. We built a massive villa, and did so with this water, so that you would go out into the last room of the villa, and there would be a pool in it, surrounded by an adobe floor. And I know for sure that the geeks are intent on taking on a new Roman village. You do not have to use this area. You can keep this area and expand the elk and mammoth and whatever, those sort of rustic mountain cabin design feels. You can do that. And I think Jayla, who was getting really excited for that, has already picked out a new area. So she mentioned a forest. So if you already got the area for the Roman stuff, go nuts. But this is where that all went down. And then somewhere here, the land gets insanely flat. Yes. See this? See how flat? Hold on. How you get all the way down? Come on. What? Can't prone? Hold on. Tell me. Prone, X. You can't prone. Is that a wingsuit thing? Surely not. Is the key broken? What the heck? Okay, let's change it to this. Okay, ready? Ready? What? Prone is broken. I can't prone. Oh well. I wanted to show you how flat the land is. I'm pretty sure you can see it. Ready? Anyway, this is where the cavalry fort went. And I think when I was doing the Roman stuff, I had a whole different outfit on. Let's see if this looks vaguely familiar. I don't think I wore a helmet. I think I cut my hair so I had a ponytail. Yeah, I think that's right. And no ponytail. But still, I think I wore a totally different outfit for the Roman stuff, and I have done that for every run of the series. And this is where all that Roman stuff happened. And I know for sure that's coming to this world. So with that in mind, guys, let's go check out something that still exists. Something that is done and something that you may remember well. Oh, baby. All right, guys. I am gliding in hard and fast to Coal Harbour. Now, in this series, I often named buildings or places after really generous Patreon supporters. Cole has not been a Patreon supporter forever, yet he still has a place named after him. That's immortalized. You ain't gonna change it. So, I always mention that. If that's something you want to do, you never know what may happen. You may end up with a whole town named after you, even if you only support me for a month or two. I'm pretty sure it's this river. It's this river, right? Okay, there's a 50-50 chance. Either way, we're gliding in, and we're gliding in hard. Oh, yes, it is this river. Okay, I'm going to start banking down, and we will walk in to give it time to... Okay. Perfect. To give it time to spawn in. And let's get these silly wings off. That's plenty. Okay, hopefully no T-birds floating around here. I think we're good. All right, so this is probably my pride and joy on the server, and this is the first place I want to return to continue working. If you're looking for it on the map, what are we at? 85, 60, something like that. And it's going to be a little slow to spawn in, although if you see a giant gap in the side of whatever's up there, yeah, it's not slow to spawn in. I never finished the big old church that I started. But not just are my patrons going to be on here building places of their own, I think for bits and pieces of this, guys, I'm going to bring them in to help me out with projects. For the most part, I want to keep my places mine and to keep working on this and to sort of bring my vision to life. Oh, good. Sometimes when it rains here, everything turns purple. We can live with the rain as long as nothing's purple. But yeah, this is the... Actually, you know what? That's going to mess... It's going to make the video look like crap. I'll be right back. The rain has stopped. Perfect, guys. I know it's thematic. I know it's probably nice every once in a while to have rain. I like it in-game, but when I'm recording, it's not quite so good. So this place was built using no mods, all vanilla stuff. The only exception is that I had the no-clip method. I was allowed to no-clip. And I think at some point during the process, I started using Structures Plus, which at the time had that ability when vanilla didn't. It wasn't a setting, and I guess I'm going to need to re-add myself to this tribe or to take over all these items. But the conceit here, guys, was a medieval harbor town, and it needs ships in the harbor, for one, and it needs more creatures. If you notice one little ichthyornis flying around there, it needs seagulls. It needs a lot of all of that. Now, one issue is I think this rock here and a few of the rocks around the village may be completely unbreakable. If that's the case, maybe I'll do a little redesign of some of these buildings, something like that. Some of them haven't been touched in well over a year. It's been a while. Well over a year? Maybe not well over a year. But either way, this is the place. This is my grand entrance to my church, which was one of the last projects I worked on and never finished. This ramp is super cool. Just looks like no big deal, right? But look at the angles of that. Look at that. How it goes, boom, steeper, leveler, level, boom, steeper, level. Anyway, there are a lot of projects that I want to work on and that I want to finish and that I want to bring the geeks in to help me with. I think that is the way we're going to go with this, guys. So this place in particular has a spot in my heart, and I need to continue working on it. You can see over here was the beginning of like the upper level of the city. Down here, docks area, slums, old school part of town. Older buildings, and like I said, there's just kind of the small docks, and the buildings are a little bit slummier. Up here, this is where the things we're going to change. We're going to class the join up. Yeah, okay, a bunch of these trees that have to go, or I'll have to raise the elevation. But yeah, I had been making plans, guys, and there was going to be a big old church here, and it was going to come back into this area. Now, once we get over here, you're going to see, if you don't remember this stuff, you're going to see a few different areas. By the way, I have changed the outfit. I'm sure you noticed. This is the old Harbor Town outfit. Okay, stairs? Uh-huh. Oh, I'm not going to be able to go through doors, am I? Okay. Well, anyway, so what happened? One of the last things I worked on was that area where you see the wood trimmed with stone. Those were going to be the newer, more commercial docks, the pier, the wharf. We were going to extend the city out that way, and the city definitely is going to extend up this way. This is a natural river, just like the one that you saw it as we flew in. That's it. Right there, natural river, and I turned it into a grand canal that goes through the center of the city. And you know what? Let's do a little... Yeah, aha! Don't get stuck anywhere you won't be able to get out of. I guess I have creative mode on. Yeah, I haven't been wanting to use this. We used to always walk around in this. I would never fly. But this is the river. Pretty cool. I mean, it's nothing like how good rivers look on the other maps. Ragnarok has blown this out of the water, but for what it is, I think this is the best way to build around it. It looks really cool. Goes almost all the way out to sea. This big stupid rock is kind of stupid. Anyway, and then this bridge definitely needs a redo. A lot of this needs a redo. And then you come over here. Oh, it's old UTC. Wow. Hi, buddy. How well did I do on the outfit? Pretty close. It's been a long time. Okay, almost nailed it. That's interesting. Ha, I forgot he was going to be here. Awesome. I'm glad I found him. Perfect. Okay, and then these were the big wharfs, and we were going to get advanced rafts in here and be able to put the galleons in. So the big, multi-masted sailing ships, pirate ship styles, those were going to be out here. And then over here, we were going to have the cogs and the galleys, smaller ships, and we never really got around to it. This was just my private server. Nobody played here but me and SW Chris, who will be around. We will go meet SW Chris at some point throughout this returning series. Like I said, episode 39, a lot of blah, 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 and eventually by episode 40, we're going to get building. So don't expect any today. This was going to be the boulevard. It was going to walk you up. This is another unbreakable rock. So maybe we put a big building around it. I don't know. And I was thinking I might need some kind of highway that runs alongside the canal. This guy was going to be the transport. He was going to be like the when the ships unload, you pile into him and have sort of like he's the medieval version of a truck or something like that. So what we would do, we would kind of take bits of history. We would take bits of Ark and have the creatures, and I'd design a city with specific creatures in mind and go, okay, well this is the creatures that these people use. You've seen kind of calicotheriums, megatheriums. You've seen a lot of seabirds, like there's a pelagornis around, there's ichthyornis around, and we designed everything around that so that it would have a feel. And for me, this series compared to my building tutorials was always so satisfying because it was about the creative process. I'll wait till we get to the Viking town to talk about cooks and bakers and all of that, if you remember that spiel. But let's just do a quick zip up here and see there are one other building I think I want to make sure I peek at in this town just to refresh your memory so that next episode we don't have to do quite so much reminiscing. I can get down to business and start working. Second bridge definitely needs work. Is this all it is? Yeah. Definitely. Okay, and then things were going to continue up here. The canal goes way, way up, and eventually my plan was to build all the way up to this archway, and that was going to be a gateway for the city, thinking maybe some kind of massive castle that would go up and around that. We have a lot more mods this time around, so I could get into castles and keeps. For parts of this, a couple of builds here and there, and then otherwise keep it vanilla, and yeah, build all the way up the canal, all the way up to here. Now, the river's on the center. Kind of stupid. As you can tell, that goes down, and then it comes up, and then it goes down. Rivers don't really do that. They follow gravity. Use your brain when you develop a map. Who developed this map said? I can't remember. It's been a long, long time. But this is what it looks like, and so I just built up around it and kind of built the canal in. But as you can tell, there is a lot more to do if I want to keep building. We could keep on going. Let's take one last look at this little cottage that's up here, and then we're going to zip over to the place where I did the 4th volume of episodes. We're going to head to the Viking town. Actually, I guess 2 builds. This is the Admirals House. This was going to be sort of a personal residence for the maybe the Harbour Master or something like that. I think I called it the Admirals House, but didn't necessarily have to be the Admiral. And for me, I was playing around. I've never learned more than when I do this series. Doing this series for me has always been how I learn tricks and tips, which I should mention, that's something that's coming too. A long-awaited thing from me, guys, is along with Building Evolved returning to the channel will be some Ark tips and tricks, teaching you a few little things here and there, short videos, how to build, my ideas and the best ideas from the folks in this Patreon community, and maybe even some other YouTubers. We'll see if we can make something like that happen. Anyway, one more spot to check. Let's zip right up here, and we will see. And one thing that has changed, guys, since I started here, I can't open this gate. When I started this series, there's definitely S+ in this place. Obviously, those are double doors and stairs. I think S+ was the only mod that we had. S+ and eco trees. I should go look at a couple of those little gardens. Like I said, get the reminiscent out of the way so you can get back to work tomorrow in the next video. But yeah, we did this little thing. You can see there's a little Professor Frog still floating out front. This was a little change of place. Change of place. Planes of chase. The thing that has changed the most in the time that I have been since I started this series is that you guys have learned. You don't need me to teach you like you maybe once did. I travel around my servers, guys, the Patreon servers, the best place in the world to play Ark, and I look at what's being built, and I go, I'm done. My work is done. They're better than me now. And so for me, I don't necessarily need to show you every single step of a build. Like I said, we'll talk more about that as we go on. But I can just build, and I can build the things that inspire me. I can show you my creative process, and hopefully I can inspire you. All right, guys, this is Cole Harbour. This is the Harbour town. Oh, God. Rough landing. And it was from Volume 3 of Building Evolved. There's a little eco tree stuff, and I forgot right up beside the church. This is a little bit more eco tree stuff. Right there, little wildflower garden. Let's head to the place where I gave up all mods, and I went pure vanilla. Volume 4 of Building Evolved and the Viking Town. Okay. Alright, guys. Another costume change as we head to the Viking Village. Okay, so this, I'm glad this spawned in. This is inspired by Bleak Falls Barrow from Skyrim. If you remember the epic sort of Nordic Viking ruins, that was what this was supposed to be. Not supposed to look amazing or impressive from up close necessarily, although it does look pretty good now that I look back on it. There's things here that I see that I hate, things here that I see that I like. That's not so bad. That is not so bad. And then the whole point was that it should tower over the town below. And this is the town below. Let's just do a little nosedive. Yeah, baby. Okay. Ooh. Okay. A little bit of a rough landing. Ha! Scary. Okay. See that? That's a dragon. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Just stays there. Constantly. Just out. Constantly. I think I made him follow this, maybe? I think that's what's happening here. I think that's how. And so I was going to hide this inside a little box. So this place got maybe 65% done. And the cool thing that I did here, gosh, you know what? What's the best way to show you? I should have done it from above. Let's use creative mode. So the coolest thing that we had here, guys, was that this town is a perfect oval. It's so not obvious anymore, is it? Well, go back to the first episode of Volume 4, and you will see. I think we started with a live stream, but what we did was I measured it out, and I kind of took a pixel circle. And I said, okay, well, here's where the pixel goes up and to the left. Here's where the pixel goes across. And so you go 1, 2, 3, then up, then 1, 2, then up, then 1. And that's how you measured out this perfect oval. Now, I didn't want a perfect circle just because of the way that this environment was shaped. It wasn't going to work. And I wanted to build around the rocks and have my main building up on top of a rocky manor. Of a rocky hill, which is what we ended up doing. Let's pull up here. So there are a bunch of small houses. There's a little area off to the left here. It was going to be mostly farming, so maybe I got more done than I thought. And the pride and joy of this place... okay. The pride and joy of this place was this. Based on High Moon Hall from Skyrim, named after another patron. This was Snake Venom Hall. And Snake and Hollowfire met on our Patreon servers, had not known each other before, met on our Patreon servers, and are getting married. Neither one's a patron anymore, I will mention that, but Snake ended up with Snake Venom Hall. Hollow, in the one series of this that we didn't do on the center, the series that we did last, the one that ended up on Ragnarok, the Swamp Kingdom, Hollow ended up with a cathedral named after her. So yeah, that's something I like to do. So in this new series, I assume I will probably take one of my most generous supporters, take care of them, name a place after him, do something sweet, do something special. And these are the front gates, right down here. A couple of different gates, and come up. And when I designed this area, your first thought is, okay, maybe these people ride wolves. No. Wolves are their enemies. Wolves come in the night and steal their children. Same with the Argies. So what they do is they hunt wolves, and they wear their skins as trophies. And that is what makes this series special for me, guys, is the imagination. When I do a tutorial, it's one build. I just do a build, and then it's done. And I don't get to use my imagination. I don't get to roleplay, and I don't get to bring the place to life episode after episode after episode like we did here. I'm going to use ghost mode so we can glitch inside this place and have a look around until I can... well, you know what? Let's try a little admin command and see if I can take it over. Okay, owner, UTC, done. Open the doors. Okay, so I did a cool thing here. Little half-tall gate, everything else buried underground, and you can go ahead and close, you fool. And this is Snake Venom Hall. So once it got its name, I designed around it. It still needs a proper interior. A couple of these wings are totally unfinished. This was supposed to be a grand dining hall. I took a lot of inspiration from Skyrim this time. And another vacant area, and then behind here was a little cook's area, and then up above, I can't remember how you get to it. Up above, there was a little bedroom area up there, hidden up behind those windows. But this was the throne room. You see that dragon skull up on there? You see the glowing green lights? You see a throne made out of gravestones that you can actually sit on. Ready? And look up, and boom. Yeah. See that? Pretty cool. So this is the kind of stuff we're going to get into. Beyond that, guys, there was a pit with snakes in it. It looks like we're down to one. I used to occasionally drop jerboas in here just for fun. I think you open these, you can drop a little jerboa down. No, that's not how that works. That's not how that works at all. Anyway, anyway, this is Snake Venom Hall. Pretty cool place. So this place could definitely use a little bit of work as well. It never quite got finished. So after we spend a little time in the harbor town, I say we come here before taking on a project of our own. I will also have the opportunity to go work on some projects with the geeks. Let's head back to the harbor town to finish off today's video. Oh, right. Right. There we go. There we go. Oh, we're not done. We're not done, guys. I kind of forgot. Is there still a boat? Okay. What happened to the boat? I built a long ship. We'll have to rebuild that. Maybe I sailed it over to the other island or something. Okay, well, if there's no boat, this is just docks. Give me a minute, guys. Let's head back to Cole Harbor. And God, that's bright out there. I will be back in your life in a moment. The center is a pretty cool map, guys. It's been a long, long time since I've played here. It's gonna be fun getting back to this. It's gonna be fun to see where people choose to build. SW Chris, who I mentioned earlier, has a settlement somewhere around here that is probably the third city that exists in this world, and I think the geeks are definitely going to be bringing to life a fourth. Chris and his people are going to be on the server, bringing together their place, and I'm going to be working on my old ones. I think I remember the one thing I hate about this map. It rains all the goddamn time. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot about this. Corrales hated that when he played here. We did it. We did it, guys. Okay, well, I'm going to talk through the rain this time because it's lovely here. So join me in the next episode, episode 40, as I return to building. And I return to Building Evolved. This series, at the time I started it, that seemed like the coolest name in the world. It's a little bit pretentious now, because people are so good at building, guys. When I first started this, no one at Aaron Longstaff hadn't recorded a damn minute of video. There's so many people out there now that are so good at building and that have shared that with all of you that you are also good at building. So what do you need from me? What is it that you really need from me? There's a little poll that'll pop up right now in the YouTube cards, and let me know in the comments. What is it? What is the thing that you most want to see? I forgot to talk about cooks and bakers back at the Viking Village, which is where I introduced that concept. But the idea is this. A building tutorial, step-by-step, log cabin 2, elevator workshop, Arctic steamboat. That is for a baker. That is for somebody who wants to see every single step, every single ingredient, and wants to create it exactly the same. This series is for the cooks. What a cook wants is just to see your ideas. A cook just wants to be given, oh, here's a cool recipe, here's a cool way to cook something. This analogy's terrible. It's a great analogy. I'm doing a terrible job explaining it. This series is for the cooks. What a cook wants is to create their own recipe. And so for them, they don't need me to show them every single, here, you put in exactly this much of this. You put in exactly this much of that. They don't want that. A cook doesn't need that. What a cook's going to do is go take that and create their own darn thing anyway. And so that is who I have always created this for, guys, because that's who I am, and that's what my favorite building series have ever been. Speaking of which, my favorite building series of all time is back on YouTube. It's a Minecraft building series by a guy named BOO. Big fan of that guy, and he's been gone from YouTube for a very long time. He inspired me to start my channel and actually inspired this series. I was playing Ark, had a little bit of success with the building tutorials, which were inspired by Corrales and the way that he taught people to build in Minecraft. And I would watch B-dubs and go, I want that. I want more of that. I don't just want people to watch. I want people to connect with me. I want people to get to know me, and I want to get to know them. And since starting this series, guys, that has happened. I know my people, and there may not be a million of them, but there doesn't need to be. You guys are amazing, and I am so excited to bring back this series. I hope you're going to be too. I know you're going to be too. People have already expressed it for me, and maybe in the course of playing and recording here, this series is not going to be around for 2-3 days, 4 or 5 episodes. Guys, it's here for a while. We're going to be doing this for a while. Hopefully in the course of doing this, not only do I give you, the people who have been watching me for years now, the thing that you most want, but maybe we'll find some new people. Maybe this community will continue to grow the way it always has, and that's it. I'm a little bit sentimental, guys. It's fun to be back here. I have a lot of unfinished projects, and I have a lot to prove. Like I said, y'all are so good at building now. You ain't living in boxes like you were back in 2016 when I started this nonsense, or 2015 when I first started playing Ark. It's 2018, and y'all know how to build. So I want to give you the series that you need. I want to give you the series that will inspire you and that will change the way you think about this game. And in between that, we're going to do some not step-by-step, but we're going to do some tips and tricks. And I'm going to show you a few little tricks that will maybe change your game, that will maybe make you a better builder, which is the whole conceit of this thing from the very beginning. Inspire you and make you better. And for me, the exact same thing is happening. I am getting inspired and I am getting better. All right, guys, this has been a heck of a lot of me blabbing and no building at all for Building Evolved. But next episode, we're going to get into it. I'll pick a project here, and I will get started. And this series will be back, and it will be back better than ever with episode 40. Geeks, thank you so much for watching. I am UTC. Click on this playlist. Click on one of these many playlists to dive back in, to go back and watch what has already happened. And at the very top of the description is a link to my Patreon. If you want to become one of the people that has the ability to join me and share this world with me and build your own amazing things that I may get to show off, check out that Patreon page. All right, guys, that does it for this episode of Ark Building Evolved. I am UTC, and I'll be back in your life in the next one.